Howdy, I want to talk about Starlight Legacy. This is a game that's very inspired by old school JRPG. So this game has all the classic JRPG kind of tropes thrown into it, but the art style, the way you fight, it's turn-based, it's got creatures, it's got sliding ice that you have to get around. It's just like a love letter to these classic games. And the map is there. It's not the most like exciting map of the genre that I've seen, but it's simple. The game kind of tells you at the beginning, it's like, hey, there's like these 4 or 5 different zones, and you're gonna end up visiting each one of these zones, and then there's like a central location that kind of starts the plot and gets all that going. So far, the story is fine. It's not the most exciting story I've played so far, but it's enough to keep me going and see where it goes. The game works pretty well with the controller. I can use analog or directional to get around. There's classic random battle encounters. And the game itself too does a good variety of options in terms of, you know, helping adjust like difficulty of fights and all that stuff. So as far as accessibility goes, it has a little bit more than games of this type would have had a long time ago, which makes the experience maybe a little bit easier, but also more open to people trying it. So the battles are fine. You have just simple attacks, but most of the time you're gonna be using the magic attacks. I mean, that's what I've been using during most of these fights. I would rarely attack with my sword. Each creature has like certain elements to where it's like, oh, this creature gets more damage if you use fire and things like that. So that's kind of how I've been doing each battle. It's just like magic element based. You have characters that can revive, you know, heal. It's like a 3-party sort of thing. So right now I have 3 characters I'm kind of switching between and going. You know, you have items to, you know, bring your character back to life. You have healing items, magic items, you know, it's got all this stuff there. The only thing I find interesting so far is that as far as like weapons and armor and all that goes, at least the places I've visited so far, there hasn't been many options to upgrade like armor or weapons. It's like I buy the armor and weapons I need, and then when I visit another weapon shop, another town, it's the same options. There's no better weapon or better armor. It's just like, oh, do you want a sword or armor? And it's like, well, I already got that. So it's like, I don't feel the need to ever go to those shops because they have the same options there, and there's no point in buying anything else. Now, as far as the magic goes though, sometimes in the world or in the shop, you can buy these runes that teach new magic to characters. So you can like, oh, I want to use this certain type of magic, and you can actually choose which character to apply to. At least with all the ones I found so far, the runes are not character specific, so it gives you that openness to customize each character how you want. You know, every character can learn fire, or every character can learn ice. So once you find these, it's up to you to apply the magic to the character you want. Or it might be best to have all characters have the same magic spell as an option, just in case. You know, it's up to you to decide. There's a quick slot button that you use to choose which magic you want to use, and you can of course customize that and switch out different magic and spells. And during battle you can use certain items and cure effects, so it's got all that stuff there. For me, what the best part I think about the game is, though, to be honest, is like the music. I thought the music for this game is really good. It definitely has that callback to older JRPG style music, but I just thought, like, as I was going to each zone has its own like theme to it and that sort of stuff. And even though it's like a smaller base game, I felt like the power of the music there. So shout out to the music of this game. The music was really good, really solid, and it just kind of kept me into this world as I was going. Because of course, there is no like dialogue or anything like that. It's all text-based that you have to read, just like these old games used to be. And it's cool to have that element in there. So it's worth playing just to hear the music alone, I think. I'm partway into the game. I kind of almost finished with the first zone area. The game gives you the option to kind of pick which area you want to hit first. And then you have to find these ways to unlock the other areas. So each person's playthrough is going to be slightly different. It's a little less linear in that way, which makes the experience more interesting. So if you're looking for that kind of old school JRPG that's not too overly complicated, but that's got modern elements and it does have a little bit of a different feel to it, definitely check this one out. I think it's a pretty solid experience, especially for a smaller indie game of its type. And it's just kind of fun to play while you're doing other stuff, playing a little bit at a time and getting through the experience. It's definitely worth it. I played it on Steam with PC and it worked totally well on my PC. So be sure to check it out, y'all.